All right, everybody, welcome in to Load the Box, a Minnesota Vikings podcast. I am your host, Jordan Hawthorne. I am joined, as always, by Will Goodwin. Will, we have an early show today, just like there will be an early game on Sunday, starting at 8:30 Central Time. I think we can dive right into it. The people know, I don't have to ask you how your week's been. We talk twice a week now. So, really cool hat. You can go ahead and shout out where you got that. And also, start talking about this Saints game.
Wait, yeah, I got this hat on the Vikings territory or Purple PTSD shop. So you can go to vikingsterritory.com and find it right there. It's pretty simple. They got a lot of cool, unique designs. Yeah, check it out. It's good stuff. I got some gear for my family for some birthdays this month, so it's a great store. Check it out.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, it's a strange week. I think we're doing this show early just so we're prepped to be early for the Sunday game. Um, yeah, strange week. The Saints are already in London. The Vikings will leave tonight, or not? Sorry, not tonight. Tomorrow night for London. Um, so we'll talk about whether or not that's a factor later in the show. But a couple things, just maybe to preface some key matchups that would be important for us to pay attention to looking into this game. I think maybe first and foremost on the Saints side of on the Saints side of the field, our new opponent for Week 4 is who's going to be the quarterback. Always important. There's no necessarily quarterback controversy. Jameis Winston hasn't been great. However, he does have multiple injuries that he's dealing with. And so he actually didn't practice at all today in London. Andy Dalton took all of the first team reps, and so that harkens back to Andy Dalton starting for the Cowboys at Minnesota in 2020, and that awkward, weird, sad loss to the Cowboys that sunk our playoff chances even further that season. So we could end up seeing Dalton on Sunday. I think that's a real possibility. I don't think it's necessarily trending that way, but it's a real possibility. So who plays quarterback matters. Just because they're different players, and Dalton's the backup for a reason. Winston earned the starting job, but also Winston he's got a little bit more of a gunslinger mentality, which can bring big boom for the Saints, but it's also brought a lot of bust this season too. He has fumbled 3 times. Luckily enough, he hasn't lost any of those fumbles, but he's also thrown 5 interceptions. And so that's something where if he's on the field, the Vikings need to take advantage of his proneness to turning the ball over. And ways in which that I've seen other teams do that this season is frankly making him uncomfortable. And putting him in situations where he feels like he needs to make a big play. He's going to throw it up for grabs a lot more often than the quarterbacks that we've seen thus far. So, and then Dalton on the other side, nothing special, but generally I would honestly compare him similarly to Cooper Rush in the sense of doesn't do anything flashy, but he generally gets the job done. I mean, he brought the hapless Bengals to the playoffs multiple times. He's not gonna blow you away with anything, but he will keep you in the game, and he probably won't make too many big mistakes. So it's an interesting conundrum. If you're a Vikings fan, you're not really sure who you'd rather have, honestly. The good thing though is that I don't really think either of them are great. So outside of Alvin Kamara, they have a lot of nice weapons on the outside, but if you don't have a quarterback that consistently get the ball to them, then it doesn't really matter a whole lot. But that's kind of my main matchup, if you will, or main storyline that I'm looking forward to. Anything on your side, Jordan, that you're seeing that's going to be important for you looking into this game?
I think playing on that, no matter who the the quarterback is for the Saints, because I think that obviously it matters who is is lining up under center for the
Yeah.
team that you're playing this week, but no matter who it is, I do think that the offensive game plan can stay similarly the same. Well, I think that the Vikings defense invites you to run a lot of underneath stuff and a lot of quick stuff and things like that. Whereas I don't, I'm not, whereas I'm sorry, but like, I think that's what the Saints offense wants to do, right? They've got, Michael Thomas. They've got, I can't remember his name. He's like the third string receiver. He came from the Browns.
Jarvis Landry.
They've got Jarvis Landry, and these aren't guys that traditionally are, stretching the field, Tyreek Hill, speed, 9 go outs, whatever you want to call them type guys. So I really think that I want to see the defense for the Vikings play a more challenging, hey, we're not going to let you just get a free release and cut inside type of deal. And I'm not saying that you don't have to be afraid of the deep stuff. Obviously, Jameis loves pushing the ball down the field, and I'm sure they'd love nothing more than to, get that check down, quick passing offensive label off of them. But I think you can both be a little bit aggressive in preventing the underneath stuff from just killing you, while also, just leave 2 safeties back. I know it's not that easy, but like Harrison Smith is trending towards playing this week. So no Josh Metellus this week. Probably definitely no Luis Sendejo. But I think that Ed Donatel really has to establish this defense, not being, Mike Zimmer's 2017, chef's kiss of a defense, but needs to establish it as being at least an average unit, because in points, yes, it's been average, but in yards per play, all of these more advanced stats, other than just how many points did you give up, the defense is really bad. It's really, really bad. Flipping it over to the other side, I want to talk about, a key point that the Vikings need to make, and that's, maybe don't design every play for the first 3 drives to go to Justin Jefferson. Like, maybe have Cousins go to the line with a check, and the check isn't run or pass. The check is, this is the Jefferson play. Jefferson's not even going to be in my progression if they have 3 guys standing over top of him. I'm going immediately, I'm going to look at Thielen and KJ, and then I'll go to the check down, because I think we need to, as an offense, understand that there are going to be plays where Jefferson's not available, and that's okay. He will still. I'm not too worried about Justin Jefferson. He will be okay. I think it's really important that we are giving KJ Osborne and Adam Thielen chances, and not just force feeding the ball to Justin Jefferson. Also, Jefferson, when you do get the ball, you need to hang on to the ball. He had 2 drops in that Detroit game. Didn't get talked about a lot on Monday, but I wanted to bring that up. So I really want to see O'Connell's offense jump out. I mentioned that on Monday. I want to see him jump out, get a lead, hold on to it, and keep the pedal down. What are you looking for from the Vikings offensively or defensively this week?
Yeah. Excuse me. A couple interesting things with the Saints. So maybe focusing on the Vikings offense, the Eagles week definitely sort of, exposed our ability to pick up a blitz. I think we did fine against Detroit in that regard. We picked up blitzes mostly pretty well. The Saints don't blitz that often, at least up until now in the first 3 weeks. Like, I think they're bottom 5 in the league or something in blitz percentage. So I wouldn't be looking for them to bring the house a lot. Then again, if you look at a team that's maybe struggled against the blitz, you might be willing to take a couple more risks. The other flip side of that, though, however, is if you are not a team that does not blitz very often, and the opposition in the Vikings have many playmakers, you don't want to risk leaving Osborne, Thielen, Jefferson, Smith all in one-on-one matchups with Dalvin Cook potentially being a safety valve all by himself. So you could really run yourself into problems if you're not accustomed to blitzing and then you do it too often. Right. So that's something that I would be looking for, but I don't think it's going to be a huge factor in the game for those few reasons. Something that I think is going to be a key to this game for the Vikings defense, a couple different things, is limiting the big plays and then taking advantage of the opportunities to make a big play themselves. So first and foremost, Jameis likes taking deep shots to Raekwon Smith and most importantly Chris Olave. It feels every game he's at least got 3 or 4 times where he just rears back and chucks it deep to Olave, no matter who's on him, just to give the guy a shot because he's got world class speed. So that's something where Vikings need to be able to stop that. At least on paper, Don Nattel's defense is supposed to stop big plays, so hopefully that's the case. On the other side of that, though, like I said, taking advantage and making big plays, the Saints lead the league in turnovers. They have 9 turnovers in 3 games. That is not a recipe for success. So if you can get Winston uncomfortable, if he's playing, that is, and if he is playing, he will be partially injured, and so you make him uncomfortable, you make him move around a little more than he might want to on his bad ankle and with his fractured back. Yes, he has a fractured vertebrae and he is playing.
Stud.
Make him uncomfortable, make him desperate, make him throw off his back foot, because he is someone who will take risks, and when you get him to do that, you need to be able to take advantage and intercept the ball. And then on the other side, they have lost 4 fumbles as well. So the Saints are not, they're not playing mistake-free ball, so you need to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. Obviously not trying to punch the ball out every single time, but when you have an opportunity and the ball is vulnerable, poke at it. Because everybody, Alvin Kamara has lost a fumble, Mark Ingram has lost a couple fumbles, I think. So you're in a situation where you can cause a lot of problems for this team if your offense short fields, if you can turn them over. So those are kind of the biggest things that I see. Limit the big plays and then make a big play. Anything for you that is maybe a concern you have or something that you're looking at as going into this game, or maybe a gotcha that the Vikings need to look out for?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago on Christmas Day, Alvin Kamara ran for 7 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he tied the record. I can't remember what the record was. It wasn't that long ago that happened to us, and the Saints' offensive line is not as good as it was on that fateful day. But I am starting to get a little low on the Za'Darius and Daniil, meet at the quarterback pass rushing duo, and also the run defense hasn't really taken the steps that I would have liked to have seen with the addition of Harrison Phillips, Dalvin Tomlinson, those guys in the middle that are there, Jordan Hicks even in the linebacker core. So the D line really does kind of frighten me at this point, and I that frightens me on a bigger scale, because not just the Saints game, but all season, because that was supposed to be the reason the defense was good, because the D-line was going to get after the quarterback, shut down the run. They were going to be making plays left, right, and center. And so we could afford to play a shell coverage. And if they're not going to get home, then, maybe this defense is just going to be really bad, because Patrick Peterson and Cam Dantzler, I think, can still be an all right, corner. Patrick Peterson, I think, is I don't want to say he's over the hill. He's all right. He is all right at this point. He's, whatever. So I want to see the D-line in this game prove me incorrect. I want to see Danielle Hunter and Za'Darius Smith get after the quarterback, throw some DJ Wanham in there. I want to see these guys get sacks and strip sacks and at least get a high number of pressures. And I want to feel like watching the game, not checking PFF after, but watching the game, I want to feel like they make an impact in the moment. And I know that kind of sounds like a dumb take, but that's my biggest area of concern for me is just the Vikings D line. Not to keep it too negative, but what is your biggest area of concern looking at this team right now?
So one kind of maybe more X's and O's thing, and one that's more just human beings side of things. I have a not tiny concern about how late the Vikings are going over there. They don't land until Friday morning in the UK, meaning that they're going to be zombies. I think that was the word that Kirk Cousins used in the post-game presser. They'll be zombies on Friday. They'll go to practice, go back to their hotel, try and recoup, sleep it off, get rid of the jet lag. Their flight leaves on Thursday night, Minnesota time. And then, Saturday, you got another, probably a walkthrough, and then you got to, again, try and shake off all the jet lag, and then you just play the next day. Whereas the Saints got there, I think they left probably from their last game to London on Monday. So they'll have been there all week. They'll be over the jet lag, no question. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's something. If you are, feeling a little bit lethargic and your clock is all messed up and you're not physically ready to go, that's a real thing. So if the Vikings look sluggish on Sunday morning, then that could be a big part of it.
Absolutely.
And then kind of feeding off of that in terms of being sluggish, the Saints defense, it's about average. I think maybe a little bit above average, maybe in terms of points and yards. And they have already they've already recovered 3 fumbles, so they're definitely a punch-it-out defense. I don't think they have any interceptions yet. So, again, if you're careless with the ball and if you're lethargic, they will punch it out. Again, average defense. They have the ability, if that's the right way to put it, allow the big play. Carolina could hardly move the ball on Sunday, but when they did, it was gash runs and kind of a fluky screen touchdown that the guy ran for 60, 70 yards or so. That was about all of their offense on Sunday. They had a defensive touchdown. So I don't see the Saints defense, potentially posing massive issues for the Vikings offense. But again, if they're lethargic and they're still trying to right the ship on offense and be more consistent, you could run into a prideful team that has now lost 2 in a row and feel like they can win that division. This is no gimme whatsoever. Being on a neutral field is helpful in some ways and I'd rather not go play in the Superdome. But again, London poses other different challenges.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of my concern, how the lethargicness or the jet lag could actually maybe turn a team into maybe a little bit too careless, and then a opportunistic defense who has a lot of pride and a lot of good players on it could take advantage of that. So the Vikings offense needs to be crisp on Sunday, and it's going to be a real challenge. This is no layover team, whatever the right word is. They're not going to fall down for you. So
yeah, I think there's 2 ways of looking at the jet lag issue. And I'm gonna say this point, and then I think we'll get into game balls and game picks, and then we'll get out of here. But I just Googled it because I was really curious. It's currently it's almost 10 p.m. in London right now. So I think that them being, let's say, 6 hours ahead of Minnesota time, if you just treat it the same, it's almost like playing on Sunday Night Football. If you just, if you get over there. But the issue is, what do you do on Saturday? How do you know what I mean? So I feel like you have to either just go over there Saturday night and everybody sleep on the plane and then get up, but then you're going to be tired. I don't know. I feel like it's a lose-lose situation unless you go over. Probably the best case scenario is what the Saints are doing. You just get used to it and then you wake up and play an early football game. But I don't know. I don't have a ton of experience personally with jet lag, but I do think that is a concern, and I can't remember if you brought it up, but I think they came out slow in the Browns game when they played over there in 2017. They had a terrible first half in that game, and the Browns, who went completely defeated, they were leading at halftime, and I was like, holy cow, what's going to end up happening? But moving on, getting into some game balls, things like that. Last week, we forgot to bring this up on Monday. I had the offensive side of the ball last week. I picked the tackle duo of Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw. Feel good about that. Cousins wasn't under a ton of pressure all game. And also, De La Salle is getting a lot of national media love this week because his PFF grades are just nuts. So is Brian O'Neill. Brian O'Neill also had crazy, they're really good bookend tackles. But
I think
so
our offensive line might actually be okay.
I didn't want to say it, but like I brought it up. I've brought it up before. Garrett Bradbury's about to start getting wild on the show. It's all beaten up and tattered, and I've only had it for like 3 years or 4 years, but I'm about to start wearing the Bradbury because he's playing well. But this week I do have the defensive side of the ball, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say, and this is a bold prediction. I would like to see Andrew Booth get on the field some. I would like to see him and Patrick Peterson start slowly getting in and out of the game. And so, bold prediction, I think if Andrew Booth gets playing time, which seen is not, so will Booth, I don't know. But if Booth can get out there, I would like to see him make an impact. I know that's a stretch. I know that's a big stretch because, one, I'm pretty sure Caleb Evans is higher than him on the depth chart, and you don't see a lot of a Caleb Evans out there. It's typically just Dan Slow, Peterson, and Shandon Sullivan. So I'm going to say the game ball. I don't want to pick Booth now because I've talked myself out of it. I'm going to say the game ball. I'm going to go with Cameron Dantzler, someone who I know is going to get snaps if he's healthy. I'm going to say Cameron Dantzler is going to need to have a good game in this one and stop making him play 10 yards off coverage. Let him get up. I'm not saying he's physical. He's a tiny twig of a man, but let him get up, get a little physical, and try and stop some of these slants and just stop getting killed underneath. I think Cam the Needle Dantzler is going to have a big game on Sunday. He's who I'm going to give my game ball to. Passing it over to you, you will have the offensive side of the ball. I can't remember who you picked for defense last week.
Yeah, last week I picked Eric Kendricks.
Okay.
Thought he played pretty well. I didn't grind the tape or anything, but I was at the game. He was pretty good in pass defense. He made a couple big stops, helped force a turnover on downs by breaking up a pass. Also helped stop a run on fourth down. So he had some good clutch play on Sunday. And so I felt like that was a decent call.
I think that's good.
Offensively this week, this is sort of an interesting one. Because, like I said, the Saints' defense is not incredible, but they're also pretty stingy in some regard. They got a lot of veteran guys: Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore. Really good players on the defensive side. So I don't see this being an offensive explosion type of week. I'm actually going to go a little bit of a curveball here, and I'm going to go with Greg Joseph. Not technically offense. I know that's maybe bending the rules a little bit. But Greg the Leg was 0 for 2 on field goals last week. Granted, they're both 56-yarders. Super hard kick. It's not like it's no gimme. But I see this being a game that's going to be relatively low scoring. I'm not super impressed by the Saints offense and who their quarterback is. I don't think either of them is going to put up gaudy numbers. So, I'll just make my game prediction now. I think it's going to be 23-17 Vikings. And I think Greg Joseph's going to kick 3 field goals and ultimately be the difference maker in the game. So that's my kind of hot take game ball. And also kind of the other part of it is they'll be in a soccer stadium. So kickers matter.
I love it. I really enjoy the pulling a trick up for, pulling the ace out your sleeve, and that ace is not Dan Bailey, as I said last week, but it is Greg the Leg Joseph. I like the pick. I like the confidence. That's something Vikings fans lack in their kicker, and so saying, "Hey, we're doing it. He's gonna do." I love it. I really love it. I forgot to give my game prediction because I'm an idiot. My game prediction. I refuse to put faith in this Vikings defense. They've had one good defensive game, 2 where they gave up 24. I think the Vikings win this game 38-24. and we go back to back to back, the three-peat of 24-point games. And I think they score like 21 in the first half, and then we hold them to 3 in the second half. And then all week long we can be like, what the hell is this defense even?
What is
like,
this defense?
yeah, we're not gonna know anything. And I think Donatel has us right where he wants us. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say they score at least 24. We're gonna score 38 points. If I had offense this week, I would have picked Justin Jefferson again because apparently he needs my love and support to, catch the ball more than like 5 times. So that's all I have.
You'll get to do that next week. We got the Bears next week, so you'll get to call him shredding the Bears next week.
And I will be at that game.
Yes,
that
you
is
will.
the game that I'll be at. So I will have to give it to him. But that's all I have. Make sure you shop Unified. They've got a bunch of fall stuff coming out right now. The hats are dope. The t-shirts are dope. Just go check it out. This hat's really cool too. Make sure to check out Vikings Territory and Purple PTSD.com, really good Vikings news, articles, and opinions. Check out the Bad Loser blog and follow the show on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You've read it down here. It's been scrolling past your eyes. Other than that, I've been Jordan Hawthorne. Thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you on Monday. And this Sunday's a really good day to go play golf. That's all I'm going to say. Back to you.
All right, guys. Skol as always. We'll talk on Monday.